Final Fantasy XII is my favorite Final Fantasy. I loved this game when I played it on the PS2 when it first came out all those years ago. And for a long time I'd hoped we'd see a Vita release. Long RPGs are, in my opinion, far better for playing on a handheld, where you can take it out and about and finish a hunt or grind for some experience when you have a few minutes to spare. I bought Final Fantasy XII on the PS4 last year, but it's for this reason I never started it. For me, I find it hard to make time to sit in front of the TV for a long RPG. So when it was announced for Switch, I was very excited, because I knew this was how I wanted to play, and it totally lived up to my expectations. If you haven't played Final Fantasy XII, the story follows Vaan, an orphan teenager living rough and scraping by doing odd jobs like clearing out rats from the sewers. He dreams of becoming a sky pirate and taking revenge on the Arcadian Empire that were responsible for killing his brother. He finally gets the chance when he steals a rare treasure from the Emperor's son, and that sends him on a journey to discover the truth behind his brother's death and the true nature of the Empire. Although Vaan is supposed to be the main protagonist, the story follows him and 5 other characters. Vaan is actually one of the less interesting ones, especially compared to the sky pirate Balthier. I remember disliking him when I played on the PS2 version, but I found Vaan didn't annoy me as much this time round, although I think I would have preferred a different voice actor for him and one of the other party members, Penelo. I don't want to talk too much about some of the other characters, as it would spoil the story, but I ended up liking all the characters more this time, and really enjoyed the story all over again. When I played the first time, I sunk around 90 hours into it. I went off exploring areas and completing hunts for powerful beasts. There were 2 problems with this. Firstly, I became overpowered for many of the story boss fights, and they became way too easy for me. And secondly, there were at least 3 occasions when I forgot the story and what I was doing. For this playthrough, I focused on just following the story and I appreciated it far more this time. There was, however, a downside with this approach, as I found I was underleveled for some of the boss fights, and then had to spend a bit of time grinding. Fortunately, grinding was a lot less boring this time round, as I'll get to shortly. The battle system for Final Fantasy XII was controversial at the time when it released. It allowed the players to choose between a traditional turn-based system, where the game pauses to allow you to decide your next action, or an action-based system where enemies will continue to attack while you select your next action. You're controlling 3 characters, and selecting actions for all 3 can get a bit hectic at times, given that you need to balance moves between attack, magic and healing. To make this more manageable, Final Fantasy XII introduced the Gambit system. This allowed you to kind of program actions for each character that they would take based on certain triggers. For example, if a character's health fell below 40%, then they could be assigned a gambit to automatically heal themselves. This made the game much easier, especially when it came to grinding, but it did make you feel like you weren't really playing. You could set up gambits for your party to automatically attack the nearest enemy, and then just let them walk around and do that. I do agree with this complaint that it feels like you're just watching the game instead of playing, but since it was optional, I could just turn off the gambits, especially for boss battles where I felt I needed more control of what the characters were doing. This remastered edition has the option to speed up the game by double or 4 times the normal speed. Cutscenes are still at normal speed, but the rest of the game can be sped up. I really appreciated this feature. As this is a very big game with a massive world to explore, being able to speed up the exploration and some of the simple encounters was so great. It meant that you're getting to the next big battle or story event much faster. Playing it like this, I really wish every Final Fantasy game had this option. I probably wouldn't choose it on my first playthrough, but I would love to have it on Final Fantasy IV, VI or 9. I'd be much more likely to play them all again knowing I could do it in half the time. It also made grinding much less of a chore, as battles with regular enemies start and end much faster. All games should respect the player's time, and having the option to speed up these normal encounters and speed up traveling around the world can save lots of hours, and that's something I really appreciated. The graphics are just superb. It was one of the PS2's best looking games, and even though this is a remaster of an old game, it still looks great. There are so many varied environments and locations with their own unique look, music and enemies. The only complaint I have with regards to graphics is the faces of characters. They just look a bit off when you see them up close in cutscenes. In terms of music, this again was one of my favourite Final Fantasies, and this remaster has the option to play an orchestral version of the soundtrack, or you could choose the regular version. The orchestrated version made the already excellent soundtrack even better. I loved entering a new area and the music kicking in and remembering the track and enjoying it even more for its new and improved version. As is traditional with Final Fantasy games, as you kill enemies you earn experience and level up. You also earn license points. The license system in Final Fantasy XII is quite unique compared to most other Final Fantasy games. You select a character class for each member of your party, like White Mage or Archer or Swordsman, and you're assigned a license board. As you earn license points, you unlock the ability to use new skills and equipment. The positive aspect of this is that you can tailor and choose how you want your character to grow and improve. I'm coming at this game with a lot of nostalgia and good memories. If you, like me, enjoyed Final Fantasy XII all those years ago, then you'll likely love this remaster as much as I did. For newcomers to the game, I think it holds up just as well as it did all those years ago. The story, world and music are brilliant. There's so much depth to the gameplay and systems. I've barely scratched the surface in this video, and there's a huge amount to do in this game. I also can't recommend the Switch version enough. It runs perfectly, and like I said at the start, being able to play a massive RPG like this on a portable system means that I can make more time for it and actually complete it. Buy it. It's a brilliant RPG and still the best in my opinion Final Fantasy game. So guys, have you played Final Fantasy XII? And are you planning to pick it up for the Switch? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.